welcome to our podcast. Today we're talking about one of the biggest and most powerful empires in history, the Ottoman Empire.
We'll break down how it rose to power, what made it so strong, and the challenges it faced in the 1450s and 1600s.
We'll also dive into its military, economy, and culture and how it shaped the world. So let's jump right in. To understand how the Ottoman Empire became such a big deal, we have to go back to its early days. It started in 1299, founded by Osman I, as a small Turkish state. But the real game changer was in 1453 when Sultan Mehmed II, also called Mehmed the Conqueror, took over Constantinople. Constantinople was the last stronghold of the Byzantine Empire, and once the Ottomans took it, they controlled the super important trade hub. This city sat between Asia and Europe, making it the center of trade, culture, and power. They renamed it Istanbul, and it became the heart of their empire.
Yeah, this wasn't just about winning a battle. It put the Ottomans on the map as a real power in both Europe and Asia. Mehmed II made Istanbul a huge cultural and trade center, bringing in people of different backgrounds and religions to help the city thrive. He encouraged the movement of scholars and artists, which helped preserve and expand knowledge, including many classical Greek and Roman texts that later influenced the Renaissance.
Alright, now let's fast forward to 1520. This is when Suleiman the Magnificent takes over, and honestly, his rule was next level. He ran the empire until 1566, and this was when the Ottomans were at their absolute peak.
Suleiman wasn't just a great warrior, he was also a really smart leader. He created new laws, which is why he's called the lawgiver in the Islamic world. His legal reforms improved governance, standardizing the justice system, and making laws clearer and fairer for people across the empire. His army was super strong, defeating Hungary at the Battle of Mohacs in 1526, and even trying to take over Vienna in 1529. These victories allowed the Ottomans to extend their influence deep into Central Europe, challenging the powerful Habsburg dynasty.
But it wasn't just about fighting. The empire became famous for art, architecture, and trade. The famous architect Mimar Sinan built some of the most stunning mosques, like the Soleimani Mosque in Istanbul, which still stands today. Science, literature, and philosophy also thrived under Suleiman's rule, and the Ottomans played a key role in maintaining and sharing knowledge between East and West. Of course, no empire has it easy forever. The Ottomans started running into problems, especially with the European rivals. One big event was the Battle of Lepanto in 1571. This was when a bunch of Catholic states, led by Spain and Venice, crushed the Ottoman navy.
Yeah, this was a major turning point. Even though the Ottomans rebuilt their army fast, this battle showed that Europe wasn't going to let them keep expanding so easily. It was a sign that their dominance at sea was starting to slip. The loss at Lepanto also hurt the Ottomans politically, as it gave their enemies hope that they could be stopped.
And this wasn't the only European conflict. The Ottomans spent much of the late 16th century fighting the Habsburgs in the Long War from 1593 to 1606. While they managed to hold their ground, the war drained a lot of their resources and slowed down their expansion. And it wasn't just Europe causing trouble. The Ottomans were also fighting the Safavid Empire of Persia. These two were going at it over religion and land, since the Ottomans were Sunni Muslims and the Safavids were Shia Muslims.
The Ottomans won some big battles, but the war drained their resources. Plus, by the late 1500s, there were other problems. Corrupt leaders, fights over who should be sultan, and a government that was starting to slow down. One big issue was that the empire had grown so large that managing it became harder and harder. Another major problem was the increasing power of the Janissaries, the elite Ottoman soldiers. Originally, they were a disciplined force made up of converted Christian boys, but by the late 1500s, they had started demanding more privileges and interfering in politics, which weakened the empire's leadership.
So, by the 1600s, where did the Ottoman Empire stand? Even though they faced some major challenges, they were still one of the most powerful empires in the world. But those cracks we talked about, they were only going to get bigger in the future.
Exactly. Even though they lasted for another 300 years, they eventually started losing ground. The defeats in Europe, constant wars with Persia, and political struggles made it hard to keep control. But their influence is still huge today. You can see Ottoman architecture in places like Turkey, the Balkans, and even the Middle East. Many Ottoman laws influenced modern legal systems, and the empire played a huge role in shaping trade and cultural exchanges between Asia and Europe.
And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for hanging out with us as we explore the rising peak of the Ottoman Empire. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe and we'll catch you next time.